Something very important in chess is coming up right now. I hope you like the session. Thank you for tuning in. So let's get started. Look, Mum, no eyes. So I just have to do a little bit of clowning around because this is me with no eye. I often speak about this in chess, and I even say it quite a lot in just the respect test. The 5 respects, which are: respect your opponent, respect your opponent's pawns and pieces, respect yourself, respect your pieces and pawns, and also number 5, respect the game of chess. So this envelops a lot of those already, this subject matter today. And that subject matter is respect your opponent. And what do I mean by that? So in practice, here we go. This is what I'm speaking about. If and where you respect your opponent, then that really helps your game, actually. Here, it's easy to respect my opponent because my opponent has already beaten me. So the score is 0-1 in my opponent's favour. So I've lost before to this player, probably in 3-minute chess, and I was a piece down at least. So here we go. I'm going to show you the game that I played here about 2 hours ago. I've only played a couple of games. And my opponent is, again, a repeat opponent. And I'd seen that I'd lost already to this player. So here we go. And what I show you is at least to be careful and not to think of my opponent as, duh, you can't play chess, because that doesn't help my chess, and I bet it won't help your chess either. So it's very good to respect your opponent and, of course, respect yourself, respect your chess prowess at the board and over the board and on the internet. So let's get started. The starting position, and here we go. Let's go from here now. It's better put the mouse in the middle of the board, and we got these moves, okay? So I will not bore you with the details. My opponent, Black, has just played bishop e6 on move 9. And so I've been waiting for this bishop to come out so I can play my knight h3 move. But the knight h3 move is a bit naughty. But anyway, here's what happens next. And so as you can see, I played knight h3 and my opponent went and clobbered my knight on h3 for their white squared bishop, which isn't the best bishop on the board. But as I've mentioned prior, that's very important to respect my opponent, especially when they've beaten me already. So here's the rest of this game, and try it in your game, because if you respect your opponent, then you'll end up, even if you say to your opponent, all the best with the game, I hope you enjoy the game of chess. Sounds like you're giving them something, but you're actually giving yourself something more important. And this is what I've found with the coach in America. I found the one that I've already promoted here. I found that he has the same sort of attitude. And that's what's going to do you really good in chess. So let's get on into this game. And there you go. Hope you're enjoying this video. So here comes the rest of the game, just for your purposes of looking at how hard this game of chess is, because this player did beat me. So here we go. Of course, here I'm threatening queen takes knight. Okay, so king h8 is very fair and sensible for Black to play. Bishop g4. Now I'm actually only wanting to open up this file for my rook here. Sort of. Okay, so here, but Black's not helping me. So I play queen g5, which is now attacking, of course, this twice. So knight g4, fair enough, and as promised, hg4. Now I have corrected my pawn formation. I've also opened up, as mentioned prior, this h file. Notice this bishop can also come out to play. Okay, so this bishop can come out to play. So there's knight h6, rook g3. I may just play rook here as well, just to protect this g pawn, or maybe I'll push it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. So here's f6. Oh, but my opponent has other ideas here. So I play queen h5, okay, and then my opponent's still hitting my queen, g6. This is at the same time looking quite good, but this is weakening. The weaknesses around the black king are starting to happen. Okay, so I think that the ending might be quite an exercise. I might get you to do an exercise here and there. So here we go. Queen h4. Now I'm just eyeing up the f6 pawn. Plus I've also got ideas of here and here, which are going to be quite hard to meet. Maybe I can bring my bishop into play, or the other rook. Who knows? g5. Here's knight f7. Maybe you could think, why not just knight into g4? Why is that not a good idea? So what do you reckon? Well, if knight g4, then I would play just h3 here, and the knight will have no space left for itself. So here we go. Here comes knight f7, and here I play rook fg1, trying to emulate the great Garry Kasparov in regards to keeping everyone else that's about in the party. b5. Okay. So now I play cd5 and cd5. Okay. And rook h3, which threatens, of course, queen h7 checkmate. So my opponent defends this move with knight d8. Can you find my next move? Can you find it? After knight d8, okay, to the square, can you find my next move that I played for white? And remember that tactics are often always good to look at, and problems. They will help your game measurably, considerably, and remarkably. Knight d8. So what's your move now? This is the move I came up with, so here it comes. So if you want to have a look at that a bit longer, because I do tend to sort of go a bit quickly here. So if you want to consider what move I played, I could play AB5. I could play something else. So, but the move I chose here may not be the best move on the board. Stockfish 13 might not, or 14 might not agree with me, but I played here knight d5. Now knight d5, this knight cannot be captured, of course, as weakness h7 is checkmate with the queen. So the queen cannot capture, and it also threatens just to go here and thereby forking and overloading the queen defense of the rook on e8, see? And also it threatens queen h7, queen takes queen, rook takes h7 checkmate. Maybe I didn't even play that properly. So my move, if it's white's move here, I'm going to play my knight to f6. Thereby I can look at this rook on e8, but also I can look at the tripling of attack on h7 square, which ends up in checkmate with the knight on f6, preventing the king from moving to the h8 to g8 square. So my opponent here played rook e6 and is ready to sacrifice, good, else the position for white will be pretty hard for black to meet, as queen takes h7 is threatened now, and rook h7 checkmate as previously mentioned. So black lifts my horsey on f6 with rook f6 and still has to look after h7 square. So here's gf6. My pawn, this pawn here, has now entered into black's camp. It's very dangerous on f6. It's a very, very dangerous pawn on f6. So all I need to do is something with that. There's also something else happening. After this move, there's something happening to black in their camp. Can you see what it is? Because some people I know can play these positions really well, and other positions they can't. So that's why it's good to be very versatile in your game of chess. That's why problems are a very good idea for you to, and I do encourage you in this regard to look at problems. So that's why having a myriad of type of problems that you look at is good for your overall chess game. It's just like playing a whole lot of lightning games or something like that at one time. So here is f6. Black played knight e6. So what's the move that white has got at their disposal which threatens black greatly in their camp? Can you find that move? I hope you can, and I'm going to pause it, and I hope you can find it. And then I'm going to come back with the answer. So we're after the king, aren't we? We're after the king. And so that's a clue. And so here we go. It's going to come right now. G'day, mate. And here we go. It's, of course, the move rook g6. And so what does this do to black's position? It threatens, of course, just rook g7. And the pawn cannot capture. It wants to. It's saying, I want to capture that rook, please. But guess what? Kingy is dead after that. So now this is a sacrificial piece. This rook can end up to be a sacrificial piece, especially landing on that square, because all of a sudden this is looking like it's very possible for white to play. So what does my opponent play? Plays ba4, of course. So you've seen my next move is rook g7 and queen g7. What else other than rook takes queen or queen takes pawn checkmate? So if knight takes, bishop takes, or in this case queen takes, then if knight takes or bishop takes, it's queen h7 checkmate. And if queen g7, well, it's fg7 check. So here come the problems. King g7, queen h7, check. And then what happens after king f6? It's a Garry Kasparov move. So king f6. What's the move that Gary would say, come on, mate, you can come into the game now? It's, of course, bishop e1. And here we got bishop e1. The king is on the run. Bishop g7 and bishop h4 and king f7, queen f5. Easy to see for some. King g8 and queen e6. And what do we got? King f8. But, and queen f5. I dropped the ball, but now I play a little bit disrespectfully. but I was having fun because this is revenge. King G8, Queen D5, check. King F8, Queen A8, check. King F7, Queen D5. A wee bit of rubbing in. So I'm breaking the wee rule here. I hope you forgive me. Because really my opponent probably shouldn't be playing on. Okay, so that's all for me. From me all now on The Muppet Show. And here comes my introduction ending for you soon.